Chapter 28 opens with a question that has been sitting under Witch Hat Atelier from the beginning. Why should magic have limits? Not just practical limits, moral limits, legal limits, lines that witches are told they're not never supposed to cross, or they're not supposed to cross. The chapter begins with that old warning about what forbidden magic does. Transmuting the body becomes a curse. Meddling with the mind becomes subjugation. Altering the natural world becomes ruination. Eternal youth becomes a violation. And then the chapter immediately pushes against that warning because someone is asking why it has to be this way if magic is capable of almost anything. Why has so much of it been locked away? This is the perfect opening for this chapter because chapter 28 is not only about saving Euini, it is also what happens when a child is forced to think at the edge of the rules. Coco, Agott, and Tetia are not trying to overthrow witch society. They're not trying to become brimmed caps. They're trying to save their friend. But that is exactly why this chapter is dangerous. Because Witch Hat Atelier understands that temptation does not always come from selfishness. Sometimes temptation comes from compassion. The chapter returns to Coco and Agott right after the reveal that the Brim Caps call Coco the child of hope. Agott is trying to warn her. She understands the shape of the trap. If the Brim Caps cursed Euini, and if they know Coco wants to help people, then they may be trying to push Coco into casting forbidden magic. That is the reason for fear, or that is equally reasonable fear. But Coco hears something different. When Agott says the Brim Caps may want them to break the spell, Coco apologizes. Then she says she is thankful. That reaction surprises Agott, and it should surprise the viewer or listener too. Now, Coco is not thankful because the situation is good. She is thankful because Agott warning proves something important. If this is in fact a trap, then there must be a way to save Euini. That is such a Coco response. Agott looks at the situation and sees danger. Coco looks at the same danger and sees a possible opening. Neither one is wrong. Agott is right to be scared. Forbidden magic has already harmed Euini. It has already turned a child into a scale wolf and thrown the entire test into chaos. Agott also remembers the consequences. If Coco violates the principles, she could lose her memory. And even worse, there's no guarantee the spell would work. But Coco is also right to hold on to the fact that hope exists. This is one of the key tensions in this story. Rules can protect people, but rules can also make people feel helpless when someone is suffering right in front of them. And I want us to hold on to this because we're going to see this happen down the road again. And it's going to be when Totter and Coco during the Silver Eve festival gets into a situation where they are watching someone suffer right in front of them. Now, chapter 28 does not give an easy answer. Instead, it puts that conflict directly between Agott and Coco. Agott is trying to protect Coco from the trap. Coco is trying to protect Euini from the curse. And both girls are acting out of care. Agott eventually admits something that cuts deeper than just strategy. She was terrified. She felt alone. She saw what happened to Euini and froze because there was nothing she could do by herself. And that is when Tetia steps in between the two girls. And this is one of Tetia's strongest moments in this arc. Tetia does not dismiss the fear. She does not pretend that the situation is simple. Instead, she changes the shape of the problem. Maybe Agott cannot save Euini alone, but there are three witches here, three minds, three sets of memories, three different ways to see magic, three different ways of seeing magic. Tetia turns the emotional spiral into a brainstorming session. That might sound small, but in this chapter, it is everything in this moment because this is where the story shows that or shows what Kiefer's Atelier has been teaching them, not just spells, not just symbols, not just how to draw clean lines. They have been learning how to think. Tetia frames it like a lesson from the Atelier. Throw out every idea. Do not judge the ideas too early. Decide what can be used later. Let one thought lead to another. That is not flashy battle magic, but it is education working under pressure. And this is why chapter 28 matters so much for the second pentagram arc, or the second pentagram test arc. The test was interrupted, but the real test did not stop. The apprentices are still being tested, not by the Great Hall, not by the official rules, but by the situation itself. Can they think like witches when no adult is there to give them the answer? Tetia's answer is yes. At least they have to try. The girls began sorting through Agott's choir, looking at every prepared spell that might help. This section could have easily become a simple inventory scene, but Witch Hat Atelier uses it to show the girls' reasoning through the ethics and mechanics of magic. The repetition seal is rejected because turning back time on a person would be forbidden. Coco also recognizes that it could trap Euini's body in a repeating loop. So the girls are not just looking for power, they're thinking about the consequences. And that's something else you're going to see them do along the way a lot more. The girls are getting smarter and more conscious when it comes to magic. Then Tetia wonders if they could separate Euini from the ink. At first, even she doubts it. Removing a tattoo seems impossible, but Coco makes the leap. Maybe they do not need to remove the seal. Maybe they only need to stop it from working. This is where Coco's mind connects observation, memory, and possibility. She thinks about two spells layered together, one that creates fire, another that puts it out. If signs can be reversed, then maybe effects can be reversed too. She proposes drawing the same seal on Euini, the same size, but backwards. If the two seals are placed on top of each other, maybe, just maybe, they cancel each other out. That idea is important for two reasons. First, it is quite clever. It shows Coco working with the principles instead of running straight to forbidden magic. Second, it connects directly to Coco's deepest wound, her mother, which we've seen her look at now, however she can use a spell or improve on a spell, how she can take it back to saving her mother. That's something else we want to hold on to and keep noticing as Coco becomes smarter in the witch world. Now, if a reverse seal could help Euini, then maybe someday, like I said, Coco could find the spell she drew on her mother and reverse that too. This is the emotional engine under the whole chapter. Coco is not only thinking about Euini, she's also thinking about the possibility that her mother's petrification is not permanent. And that makes the idea dangerous in another way, because hope can save Coco, but it can also make her easier to manipulate. Let's hold on to that as well. If you like these types of videos where we do story breakdowns, character analysis, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, because there's so much more story to come with Witch Hat Atelier, and because chapter 28 is doing something very smart. It lets Coco build a real solution before the Brimmed caps offer their false one. Now, once the girls have a theory, the chapter turns that theory into action. They need to get close enough to Euini to find the seal on his body. So they build a plan using what they have: cloaking, movement, stone ropes, wind, sand walls, and of course, the Brush Buddy's ability to track ink. Yes, as a reminder, the Brush Buddy is part of the team. He's part of the crew, part of the ship with the girls. This is another reason the chapter works. The solution is not one spell, it is a chain of ideas. One apprentice distracts Euini, another leads him to position. The stone ropes hold him. Alar's wind wall spell helps pin him down without simply attacking him. The sand wall creates containment. Let's say that one more time. The spell wall will create containment. Brush Buddy finds the ink, and then Coco will get close. Well, Agott will get close enough to draw the spell. Not Coco. Agott will. It's messy, it's improvised, it's even dangerous, but it's also a collaborative effort between the girls. Agott's role here is especially important. She is the one who has to climb onto Euini's back. Yes, and his scale will form and he's on all fours, yes, as you know, and trace the reverse seal. And right before she does that, she thinks about Richard. Now, this detail matters as well. Why? Because let's think back to earlier, chapter 27. Agott told Richard she would not be any help to Euini, but now when she sees how small and precise the seal is, she realizes Richard would have done a good job of being good at this. Agott understands that she may have been too harsh what she said to Richard, but in the moment she was right. And this is a different moment and a different situation. So Agott is just going to have to do her best. So this is not only the moment about saving Euini, it's also a moment where Agott is realizing that she may have been just a little too harsh. But like I said, I don't think she was. Agott draws the reverse seal. For a moment, it feels like the girls have found the answer. And then Euini does not turn back. This is the chapter's pivotal emotional moment. Agott immediately questions herself. Did she draw it wrong? Was she not precise enough? Did she fail Euini? Tetia and Agott are now trapped below with Euini, and Coco is above them, watching the plan collapse. The important thing here is that Coco's mind starts racing. Is she not simply thinking the spell did not work? Is she thinking about what failure means? If reversing the seal was not enough, does this mean a body altered by magic, or let's say forbidden magic, cannot be restored by normal spells? Does it mean that forbidden magic really is the only answer? See, this is exactly the kind of thought the Brimmed Caps need Coco to have, but also the other girls as well. And then Iguin appears. His timing is just too perfect and too accidental in this situation. So guys, check out the panels. He does not arrive when Coco is calm. He does not arrive when her friends are, in danger with trying to trace the seal on Euini's back, or when her plan has failed. And when she is ready, he arrives when her friends are in danger, when her plan has failed, and when she is already wondering whether normal magic has reached its limits. This is manipulation. Iguin calls her clever. He tells her she has likely already guessed the truth. Then he offers her a secret, a way to save Euini, but Coco immediately understands the cost. It involves forbidden magic. This is the cliffhanger that chapter 28 leaves us with. Not whether Coco cares enough to save Euini. We already know she does. All the girls do. The question is whether she can stay herself when the fastest solution that's being offered is by the very same people or group or faction who created the suffering in the first place. Iguin's pitch is not just use forbidden magic. His pitch is you can save everyone and no one has to know. This is a much dangerous temptation than you can realize, ladies and gentlemen, because it tries to separate Coco from her friends, from her teachers, from the shared thinking that gave her hope in the first place. Now, if chapter 27 revealed that Coco was the Brimmed Cap's target, chapter 28 now shows how they plan to reach her, not through greed, but through urgency. And chapter 29 finally puts Coco face to face with that choice. Iguin offers forbidden magic as the answer, and he actually demonstrates it. Coco has to decide whether saving someone means letting the Brimmed Caps define what kind of witch she becomes. Let's hold on to that as well. That is important. This line is actually really strong. What kind of witch she will become? Will she let them define what kind of witch she becomes? So here's my question to you, to the listeners, to those who watch the anime that's listening, to those who read the manga, but join me to listen anyway. Do you think Coco's reverse seal idea was a failure, or was it actually the first step toward a better answer? If you made it to the end of this video, thanks for hanging in there with me. Do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Yes, share it out. I will meet you at the next Pointed Hat discussion. Thanks for stopping by and watching.